Hey guys, welcome back to another fun-filled episode on Tamed Antics. What's up, buddy? So, I left off working on wiring, just a lot of wiring to do. I apologize, it's kind of dry, but we're working through it. Right now, I did a couple things off camera, so I just want to catch you up. I got my new radio installed. It's a Android Play, got OnX offroad and stuff on it. It's pretty cool. Got that. Obviously, you can see my Terminator X and Quick 4. I saw to run the wires up to that. Right now, I'm currently working on working my way downward to get everything up top wired in. I'm gonna run a couple extra wires in. So eventually, I plan on putting a couple pods on the sides. On both sides, so I'm gonna run those out and just close them off, so that it's ready when I'm ready to put them in. Not right now because it's really not a priority either with these lights, but at least I'm getting the hole popped in. I used a one of those mil-spec, kind of not really mil-spec, I guess, but collapses the rubber on the wires. I'll also RTV it. That's where I'm at. I have this fuel pressure gauge thing wired in. Just got to tap in the grounds. I also installed my chase bar, which that has strobes on it, reverse light, a couple other things. So right now I'm just working on making the harnesses for the front 8 lights. The way I'm going to set it up is the outside most light, which should be this light, and then 2 in, and then same thing on the outside. That way the outside 2 in, and then outside and 2 in on the other side will light up, and then the middle 2 and the second one in from the outside will light up on the switch that way. Just gonna keep trucking away on it. I apologize, wiring is not that exciting for me and or you guys having to watch, so I'm trying to do a lot of off-camera stuff, just kind of bring you in and show you what I did, and then back on to the next thing. So I did get a couple parts in over the week. One being my Transgo shift kit, which is just the tugger kit for the 4R100 E4OD. Never installed one, gonna throw it in. Before I do that, I have a couple other things I need to do. I have to wrap up the transfer case cross member, make a quick skid plate into the transmission cross member from the transfer case cross member, and then the transfer case cross member will hold the trans up while I pull the transmission cross member, because the bolts are above for the transpan above the transmission mount. So I got to get that done in order to get the other one done. Not a big deal, it's something to do. And then we got to install our kit that came with our winter shifter. It puts a new shaft in the side of the transmission, so it clicks it the right way for the shifter shaft, and also install that Transgo shift kit. Get it topped off in fluid, and then that will hopefully be done. From there, we're getting really close. So, also spent a little bit of time and started my brackets for my winter shifter. So basically, it's going to build a stand so it'll sit like this in the truck, and then build some beauty plates to make it not look so haggard in there, because there's not much you can do when I'm going to build it up above the console so I can put my elbow on the armrest and be able to reach straight across with my hand and not have to reach down as much. So, and it makes the cup holders usable still, which the wife will like, I promise. But anyway, tag along and enjoy the video. Alright, so I got a good start on this harness. You see the 2 longer boys right here floating. They're gonna go to the very outside These will go to the second or third ones in technically. So I don't know what everybody else uses for connections, but this is my first choice. Second, I don't solder. I don't see the point. I've read that there's a lot of people that, or there's been studies that prove that these butt connectors, the non-insulated ones, are the way to go. And that's what I usually use, but I ran out. So I had to go to the parts store, restock on other things that I needed to get this job done. But let me know in the comments, what do you use when you're connecting wires? Do you use butt connectors? Do you solder? Do you use non-insulated and shrink wrap? Or do you use insulated with the heat shrink? Or do you risk it all and not use any insulation and wait for it to corrode out? So let me know. So another thing is, so these light kits, these 7-inch and 6-inch light kits from, I believe it's Big Lion on Amazon, not sponsored in any way or whatever. They come with a, your power wire, a fuse, a relay, a nice little toggle switch here at the end that lights up. But I'm not using any of that. I'm sure you probably should use a relay, but I'm gonna give it a shot without it, because we all know that the draw of a LED light is insignificant compared to a incandescent. So I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna run obviously 4 lights on one of my terminals on my membrane for my switch panel. That's in that. And I don't need to run a fuse because the membrane has like an over circuit or overload protection. It draws too much amperage, it kicks it just like it would a fuse, and so I'll know if it needs one right away after using them for a little bit. So worst case, the membrane's gonna kick and we'll just bump it into a relay later on. Not too big of a deal. I might get some flack for that, but we'll see. It's kind of a experiment. So if you haven't used these before, insulated butt connectors, you can see the little glue pushing out on the end. You heat shrink it down, and the glue seals it up pretty good. So I also recommend that if you are using a heat shrink, you make sure that it has that glue in it as well, because heat shrinking over top of metal that can still get wet on the inside, kind of pointless really. So, and you can usually tell, I got a sticker here for instance. If you look on the inside, you probably won't see it in the camera, but it's a little shiny. You can kind of see the glue in there, and as it shrinks down it pushes out. So alright, so this is the roof harness. It splits off. I got it all packaged for the outdoors now. So this splits off the first 2 lights in the row. We got the second 2, third and fourth on the other end. So it's, like I said, the way that I have it wired, it's gonna have 2 power wires and 2 grounds. The grounds will end up grounding into the body, and I'll have to run this all the way down to the membrane after we poke it through the roof. Let's get it in. So if you're ever doing any through inside to outside, these things work great. As you tighten down the outside of this, it squishes down around the wires or whatever. You can get them on eBay or Amazon. I got mine off Amazon. It was like a 20-piece kit or something. So let me show you. I put no ring on here. I'm not sure if it's gonna make any difference, but if it does, then I guess we stop the water from getting in that hole. I thought about running a bead of silicone around it just in case, but I'm just gonna try the O-ring for now. And then in this area here, I'm gonna put a dab of RTV once I get all my other wiring tied up. That's for my chase bar, and then I'm gonna ahead of time put in my side light wiring. That way we don't have to do this all over again. I can literally just put the lights in and clip them into the wires, and they're already wired in. Not really a priority, like I said earlier, I think, but this will save me time in the future at least. And I was super happy that I was able to get everything through one of these connectors. Probably kind of looks like a rat nest in here right now, but that's because we gotta chase some wires out. But you can see it comes through here all nice and clean. And we're gonna run it across here, down that B pillar, and then do our membrane down here. So we already tried out the lights, just a test run to make sure that they were functional. There's all this one side lit up, plenty bright. So, all right, well, I'm gonna get that wiring up top zip tied to the exo cage, get that RTV'd up top, and then we're gonna work our way down, get this all tied in the membrane, and then I'm not sure what we're gonna do after that. All right. Whoa. Got harness zip tied in. Got the split in here for the side lights when I put them in. Silicone. Now I just need to do that side. I gotta move my ladder. What the outcome of everything, I thought it turned out pretty nice. Well, these are on. Fantastic. And I'll give you a quick rundown of the, show you what I did on the switch panel. So I just kind of staggered them out. This would be my power to my chase bar. This is that'd be the strobes. That's the brake strobes. But I just have them wired in so they strobe red on power. I don't know if I'll ever use it or not, but it's there. Outers, inners of the front lights, and then rear camera, front camera, and the side lights that aren't wired into anything, but they're there. So I still have 2 spots to one for the locker, and then it gives me 1 more spot for something else. And you can see this is what it looks like when they're all turned on. So the cool thing is like you can program that panel to be a momentary switches stuff too. So if I really wanted to, I could wire push button start through that to start it instead of going through the key, kind of like an anti-theft. Well, now you guys all know, so don't steal my truck. And then, so this little ground wire that I have poking out up here, I am gonna put a momentary switch on the side of that console, and you tap it and it changes the strobe pattern on that chase bar. So that's pretty neat. Got the radio back in. Got our terminator rack, quick 4 mounted back in. These panels just snap in, so pretty easy. This is what we need to address more so right now. We need to mount a shifter because we don't have a shifter mount. So that's what we're going to work on. Well, I've been kind of working on my shifter mount. And I just kind of got a general idea where I want it to sit. I want it to be a nice plane with you're having your elbow up here that you can throw it into gear. Granted, it's a little shaky right now. It's only got 1 bar holding it, but pretty decent. Buddy Tyler's over, and he said he'd bump it forward just a little bit, like how he thought it felt. But so I'm gonna pop the tack loose and tip it forward just a little, and then figure out how to make it nice and sturdy and encapsulate it so it still looks kind of nice. And I'm gonna get my transmission crossmember stuff done and start dropping the pan and get that taken care of, because that's my biggest project I have left. And we're getting down there on the wire. As of right now, we are let's see, we are 104 days away from our first wheeling trip, so we got some work to do. And this isn't the only truck that needs completed. Got a buddy that needs an interior cage done on his blazer that he's building. And then another buddy, the one with the Brown Ranger in my previous videos, he wants an exo cage done on his Ranger to help make it live a little bit longer. And then his dad might need some help as far as tube work. He's building a fresh truck, like an 03 Ranger on a full-size frame with a big block on 44 boggers. Like, it's gonna be a big boy. So yeah, we got some other things that we need to do other than just get mine done. So that's what my focus has been, is get this thing knocked out so we can start helping everybody else get theirs rigs done as soon as possible. That way we're not pushing ourselves back further or putting them behind because one or the other. But right now nobody needs my help, so now is the time to get it done. Alright, so I got my momentary switch wired in for my chase bar. So the way it works is it uses a ground trigger to cycle the different patterns. So currently this is the pattern it's on, and then I'll show you the switch itself. So I have it so it's always lit up. It's just an LED, so I'm not too worried about it. And you just give her a click. It didn't work. Oh no. Maybe we didn't hold it long enough. We'll go try it again. There we go. So there's a few different options on there for patterns. I haven't went through them all, but I'm just showing you that that's what that does. So we're gonna pop a hole somewhere in this panel, maybe right off the side or off the back here, and then we'll be able to secure all that back up after we get these two ground wires tapped in for the up top lights. So also to clarify, I have these wired up so they turn on and they literally start strobing as soon as they turn on. It's not a function I plan on using often, but maybe like we're out wheeling someplace where there's a lot of hills and don't want to run the yellows. They're supposed to be wired into turn signals, brake lights, but the problem with that is they literally, when they're on, they strobe the whole time. They don't turn off, so I didn't want to get in trouble with the law. So, like I said, it's not a function I plan on using often. The hazard strobes and stuff are pretty nice. Like, let's say we're on the side of the road, you know, just anywhere, you know, make people know that we're there. So, helping somebody out of the ditch or something, yeah, that's something that we could legally use those for, or just have them on the trail so people can see what we're doing if it's dusty out or whatever. So most of the time we'll be running them just like this, that way they're on, it's visible, it's nice and high on the truck so people can see us coming over hills, so on and so forth. So it's on a toggle, so that way we can turn it on, like let's say we're backing up or we just want to see who's behind us if we can't see physically because whatever, we need to turn on a rear view camera. The lights will come on too, or let's say somebody just behind us needs some more light. We have that light. These lights will all come on that switch as well once they're wired in. They're not wired in yet, so not hard. Just got to tap into that. It's also going to still power off of the reverse switch, off the transmission. So if that light bar is on, it will also power that on from that side. So nice function to have. You know, people can see us. Let's say we're backing up a hill. It's nice and high so somebody can see it. I was screwing around. All the snow melting outside made it a little wet in here, so I didn't get a lot done underneath the truck. But I did get this little black dot up there is my ground trigger for my light up there. And I tore apart my dash I was gonna just keep working on wiring, and then I realized I can't do what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to tie in the speedometer wire off the Quick 4 into the factory cluster, because this thing looks sweet, well lit up, I thought, and the tack as well. Well, I was looking good at the schematics, and there's nothing on the schematics that show like a speed input. It's just, you know, your basic CAN bus. It's CAN bus, so that's a problem. The only things that this thing can literally do now, since we have put the Holly in, is we could wire up the fuel sender to know the level, and we can wire up the indicator, or leave the indicator lights wired in, and that's all that dash is good for. However, I don't know if it's just my battery, but I have the cluster disconnected, obviously, and something's going crazy. I know my battery has more than taken a crap, so I'm gonna get that swapped out right now. I got a fresh blue top to put in. Been sitting on the bench. I had planned on putting 2 blue tops in, just for a little better on the winching side of things. But now it's gonna happen. The other battery, I'm gonna see if I can get it warrantied out. We'll see if Optima holds up to their great customer service. My previous experiences haven't been so great. I have a yellow top over here that I got in 20, and it was 6 months old, and it took a crap, and they wouldn't warranty it because I couldn't find the receipt. That might have been more of a store thing, but it literally has a sticker on it, so whatever. But moving on, I'm gonna get this battery swapped out. Well, there's no going back now. I took the speedo apart. I am not gonna unsolder all those LEDs, but I found out that I have to have it plugged in, or some of the stuff that was wired in doesn't work. I'm guessing like the illumination stuff goes to the dash first. So we're blocking it all off. We painted it all black, minus right here. That's where the fuel gauge is. The fuel, where it says fuel door, turn signal. I accidentally painted the high beam. I was gonna tape that off before I painted it. Whatever. We didn't need that anyway. Anyway, yeah. So, in the end, we'll probably put a gauge cluster on there. And I'm not sure what we're gonna do about the tinted lens, but probably have to ditch it. Not a big deal. Oh god. It's effective. Yeah. 2 little red dots poking through from the speedos. And then fuel gauge. It's not wired up, obviously. There it is. This side. You can't quite see it there. There is a high beam indicator, just barely. But I can go back and clean that off. I think I'm gonna, when I get the, I think I'm gonna run like a Holly dash up here, or like a 5-inch, and I'll just cut out the window and set it back inside of it. Alright, so finally crawled underneath, got my spacer put in between my transfer case bushing and the transfer case, and transfer case cross member, and I just welded it off. kind of beefy. I think I might put a tab on it yet to like build a little like 3/8 skid plate to go underneath my transfer case, because my transfer case sticks down just a smidge, and it's only you can see it a little bit right there, but it's aluminum, so I don't want to bust it off. Well, it definitely feels like we're working backwards, but progress sometimes has to go that way. Got my little midsection of my exhaust out. I'll show you what I'm working on here. I just got tranny cross member out. As you can see, it bolted it over there. It's over there on the ground. I had to pop my exhaust loose to get to the bolts because they're up inside of here. But now we're ready to drop this pan. But I think that is where I'm going to cut you guys off. Post this video up and do the whole video of tearing that thing apart as a next time thing for sure. So, as always, appreciate you guys subscribing, commenting. Getting somewhere now. This is one of the bigger jobs, is getting this Transgo tugger kit put in. So get everything tightened up and then get the transmission rewired back up, and we're down to a couple little wires and we're ready to start this thing and maybe consider driving it, but not quite. We got a couple other things to do first. But anyway, until next time, have a great one.